Hey, welcome to the Just Jake podcast. I'm Jake Gutierrez. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, but we're back, and we're very excited to talk to Kyle Walker. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Kyle is born and raised in KC. He's a hometown Kansas City guy. Graduated college from Mid-American Nazarene University. He's a seasoned podcaster with over 1 million views across all other venues, and he is the voice of Back of the Pack podcast that come out every Monday and Friday.
Yes, sir.
So let's just talk about your podcast is obviously about running.
Yes.
You're an avid runner.
Yes.
And so let's talk about how you kind of got started into running.
Sure. So I started way back in 2010, and did that as coping for divorce stress. I went through a particularly nasty divorce and kind of ballooned in weight, started doing a few habits that probably weren't good for me. And a buddy of mine that I was working with, he's actually like, dude, why don't you try running? And at that time, I was weighing about 300 pounds.
Sure.
And so I thought, yeah, right, me run. That's funny. But I tried. I got a nice pair of shoes and went out and like ran about a block and then started walking again and just kind of kept building up. And then in December of 2010, I ran my first 5K and fell in love with it. Fell in love with race morning, the atmosphere, the environment, the camaraderie of other runners. And I've been running ever since then.
Did you run much growing up, or is this like your first go at running?
It was my first go at running. Now, like everyone else, I did sports. I played football.
Right.
Basketball was my thing for most of my life while the knees held up. And so I'd always been doing conditioning for team sports, but never just go out and
here and
run.
there, but never like putting in miles.
Right. Nope.
Gotcha.
That was new to me.
And so let's kind of break down like where you're at now. So that was 16 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
2010?
Yep.
All right. And I understand the running aspect of coping.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a physicality and a chemistry that happens in your mind with running. And look, messy divorce. I don't know if there's any other kind.
Yeah, right.
Being
exactly.
a veteran of one myself, and probably look, half the people watching this probably have
exactly.
too. So your races, like how many races have you done to date?
366.
366.
Yes.
And that's as of today.
That's as of today. Not that I checked this morning before coming in or anything, but I might have.
And how many of those have been marathons?
So 14 fulls.
14 full marathons.
Getting right to about 100 half marathons. And then the rest of that is between 10Ks, 5Ks, and then miscellaneous distances
Sure.
from
Yeah.
whatever races we're in.
Gotcha. And so 48 races last year?
Yes, 48 in 2025.
I mean, you're running every weekend.
Every weekend. And that was actually a down year. Suffered a little bit of a knee injury. 2024, I was closer to 60 races in the year. So almost 1.5 a weekend. Well, hair under that.
So how do you go from, 15, 16 years ago, running your first 5K to moving it into, the 10K range, the half marathons, and then 14 full marathons, which is basically almost one a year from the time you started racing, running, racing. I mean, correlate the two because
sure,
I grew up playing soccer and running was a part of that, and I ran track, and so putting in miles was just normal for me. So I've been a runner. I think I did the cliffhanger race when I was like 12. Okay, my mom got me out. I had a kid with ADD, and we got to keep this kid busy. So
right.
I've ran 5Ks for a long time, and so it's just been part of my maturation through running, and so I'm still a quote unquote daily runner. But how do you go from not running at all, 15, 16 years ago, getting in, like, hey, I need to do something. I'm not liking the way I feel. Your buddy says, hey, why don't you try running? You put some shoes on, you try it. How do you go from running your first 5K to running almost 60 races last year, 2024 and 48 races? Tell me what that process, because that's pretty, I mean, granted, that's a nice period of time, but like, how long has this been your schedule? How long has been doing races almost weekly or even bi-weekly been your thing? Tell me about that process from going from your first race to where you are today.
Yeah, for years I tried to do one race a month. Yeah, and it was normally just a little 5K. I did very quickly though go from 5K. I wanted to try my first half marathon, and to be real honest, my first why, because I always ask runners, "What's your why?" my first why was basically a big F you to my ex-wife. Look at me. Look what I can do. You can't do this. This other guy thing, he can't do this. I can do this. So for probably 2-3 years, that was my why, was just kind of the big middle finger to her. But I kept falling more and more in love with the process. And I suffered a big setback in 2016 when I had 2 open heart surgeries. So I missed about a year of running anything more than 5K. And then after I came back from that, I lost all the weight after surgery. I lost a lot of weight. Then I gained it all back. And for a while, I was still running, but I was still very unhealthy. And it wasn't until 2021, I ran the New York City Marathon. And I ran it horribly. I ran it at almost 320 pounds. I didn't have a good time. It was a great experience.
You finished it?
I finished it.
At 320?
I finished it in 6 hours and 58 minutes.
Dude,
like that's
at 320. That's the number. I
320.
don't care what the time was, just finishing it.
I'll show you a picture sometime of what I looked like crossing the finish line.
I've been a guy who's been over 300. I've gotten up to 374, but I've been over 350 3 different times in my life, and it's like I couldn't even really start getting back in. Like the last time I lost all my weight, I promised myself, because I did miss running, because I lost a lot of weight just by walking.
Yes,
and eating properly,
Stupid diets.
I don't call them diets. It's just about nutrition intake.
Right.
It's just in nutrition intake. But like I had to get under 245 to even start running again, just because it's like I'll blast my knees apart.
Right.
So just tell me about that. Running the New York Marathon at 320.
It was an experience. Again, it was 2021, so still a lot of coronavirus protocols in place, reduced field, but I was able to get into the race, and amazing experience. And the New York City Marathon is still my number one favorite marathon ever, because the environment, the atmosphere, the crowd support was like nothing else I've ever run.
It's crazy. I've been in New York the weekend of the marathon. It's crazy.
It's electric.
Yep.
And what I tell people, and listeners of the podcast are going to be like, oh, here we go with this story again. Like the Boston Marathon, all those people out there, they want to help you. Can I give you a tissue? Do you need a drink? Can I hand you a Jolly Rancher? Very nice, very supportive. They want to see you get down the road. Chicago, more of a party, but they're going to do their thing kind of no matter what. Runners, they'll support you when you run by, but they're just having their own good time. New York City was electric. There was a part where we were running through the Bronx. The crowd surged so much onto the course. The runners were single file. We had to go single file because these people are just going nuts, and they're screaming at you, and they're just go, go, go. So the environment, the electricity in New York City was second to none. Still my favorite race ever.
So let's go back to 2016. So you start running 2010.
Yep.
You run in 6 years. Like what's your running look like by 2016?
By 2016, it's maybe 2 5Ks a month, maybe mix in a 10K, maybe a half marathon if there's one that I want to do. In 2016, I was starting to see some progress in my running. I was down in weight and was really enjoying everything. This was at a point though where I didn't have a running community. I went to a race, head down, go to the start line, run your race, go home. And so just kind of doing the things. And I ran a half marathon in May and ran it usual time, no big deal. Tried to go for a run a few days later and felt like this pain in my chest. Like, oh, well, this is weird. So I went home, tried it the next day, still that pain. Well, what we had found was years ago, I had a defective valve in my heart. And they'd said, you'll need it replaced like when you're 50. Well, 50 suddenly turned into 36 years old, and that valve was toast. It was gone. So all the running had to be put to the side, and I went in for 2 open heart surgeries. One to replace the valve, and the other due to complications. They basically had to do the same surgery twice.
And did they tell you, hey, you need to slow down on the running after this stuff? Like they put you on the sideline?
Well, I mean, just the recovery put me on the sideline. And then my cardiologist, and I love the guy because he's very honest. He's like, well, does it hurt when you run now? No? Okay, go ahead. Like if it starts hurting, stop. Otherwise, do your thing. So he's never tried to limit my running since coming back. Again, all of 2017, I never did anything more than a 5K. So it really kind of slowed down what I was trying to do and build up for distances and things like that. But 2018, I did the first Chicago Marathon, which was my first of the World Marathon Majors. And since then, I've just wanted to continue to get majors, run races. And then in 2022, when we started this podcast, the Back of the Pack podcast, sorry, not this one. It was one of those things, I feel like I can't sit there and do a podcast about running if I'm not out there doing the runs.
Sure.
And that's where, in 2022, that's where we went from, maybe 14, 15 races a year to 30, 35,
Loading
40.
up.
Yeah, trying to do something every weekend.
So what do you think, with your intro into running in 2010 and then your heart surgery in 2016, do you think that 6 years of running gave you an advantage at approaching that heart? I mean, because look, running's fun and races are awesome, but like having open heart surgery, right? That is a life changer.
Yes.
Like that is, hey, there are moments in life that like, hey, life check.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is reality. These are things that people sometimes don't survive.
Yes.
So tell me about like what kind of wake up call was that?
It was huge. The defective valve, there was nothing I could do about.
Sure.
It wasn't that I was living some kind of terrible lifestyle or I was damaging myself. That was going to happen no matter what I did.
People are just born with them.
Right. It was from birth, defective valve. Okay, so had to get it replaced early. I went into it telling the people, look, I've always fancied myself an athlete. I love playing sports. I want to run. At the time, I was still playing slow pitch softball. I had not yet been recruited to the Pizza Boys Soccer Club, but that was soon to come. But I told them, like, look, I want to stay active. How do I do that after the surgery? And they're like, well, we have to put a mechanical valve in your heart if you want to continue to be active. You'll be on blood thinners the rest of your life, but it is the best chance to go back to doing the things that you want to do. And for me, it was no brainer. Like, okay, put it in. Like, mechanical valve it is, because at that time I was 36.
Right.
And now I'm sitting here, I'm about to turn 46, and I'm still not done. I want to keep going. I still want to do all the things.
Yeah.
And so it was a big wake-up call. It's like, okay, but again, it wasn't that I was living unhealthy.
Right.
Even though at the time I kind of was. I mean, I've been overweight since I was a teenager.
Sure.
But it's like, man, it puts into perspective, like I could go in the surgery and I might not come out. I may not be able to do the things that I want to do. So it was definitely an experience.
Sure. I mean,
I don't recommend.
No. I'll try to stay away from that
Yeah, good
for
call.
as long as I can. But it definitely is. It probably is something. I'll ask you about that. Like, how does that fuel you today?
From the heart surgery perspective, I don't want to sound like I have some kind of ego or chip on my shoulder, but most of these races I go to, I finish being like, yeah, I'm probably the only guy out there with 2 open heart surgeries who finished this race. And I hope that might motivate other people. I have given my story to Advent Health where I got this done. They love my story. They did a little video piece about it just to try and show heart surgery, not the end of your story, not the end of what you want to do in life. Doesn't mean you got to change your passions. There normally are ways, hopefully, to get back to the things that you want to do. And so if people see or hear that a guy with 2 open heart surgeries is running marathons, and since the open heart surgery, I think of the 14, 9 have been post-surgery. I mean, I'm out there doing that stuff, so people might be motivated to give it a try themselves.
Yeah.
Or not be scared to try something just because, of a situation that might be going on, harder otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to give you, like, I just imagine, I know I'm a giant fan of David Goggins. You know, he's a crazy ultrathon guy. And
he is nuts.
Absolutely. I love him. But he talks about having a cookie jar, and that's the things that you have put in that cookie jar when you're in, mile 18, 19, 20, dig those things out. These are the things I've done. I can do. This is not even close to being as hard as that.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's a pretty powerful thing to be like, hey, man, I'm sucking wind at mile 24,
But I'm not laying in that hospital bed
Right.
after open heart surgery, which was far tougher than any marathon I've done.
What was that recovery like? So, I mean, you're 10 years out.
Yep.
And that's probably a pretty good sign.
It is. Normally they say if you make it the first 10 years, you're probably fine. Really? Probably? Thanks. All right. But
You should probably put a parachute when you jump off this plane.
I mean, probably. No, after the first surgery, I recovered very quickly. Again, being 36 at the time, it was easier. And that's one thing I heard in the hospital. Everyone, oh, he's so young. Yeah, I know. Thanks. But no, I recovered very, very well after that. The second one, the unexpected one, where I won't go into the whole story, but blood clots developed around my heart. And they didn't know what the problem was until they actually went back in there and found them. The recovery from the second one, because it was only 3 weeks after the first,
Wow.
that one was tough. And there was a night in the hospital where I suffered a little bit of a medical issue, almost went deady by at that point. They were kind of there with paddles in hand because they thought I was about to kick out. That was hard to recover from mentally more than physically.
How far after the first one was that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks after.
3 weeks. I was at home recovering, walked up a flight of stairs, and thought, man, whoo, I almost passed out walking up these stairs. I better call the cardiologist and, just see what he thinks.
Absolutely.
Went into the office the next day. They got me in there real quick, and he listens to me, and he's like, all right, do me a favor. I want you to go down the stairs, down the elevator, hang a left, go into the emergency room. They're going to be waiting for you. Because apparently he could hear that there was all these extra fluids that were pressing in on my freshly operated on heart.
Yeah.
And it was causing it to do all sorts of funky things. And so I got readmitted to the hospital, and my second night there, everything pressed so much that I went into AFib. And so my heart was beating over 200 beats per minute as I'm lying there perfectly still. They gave me a medication that was supposed to help calm that down, made it worse. And that's where they thought, this guy's about to go. And again, I hate saying this part. It sounds dramatic, but it's true. Like I was laying there, and I did not see the white light, but I could feel like this darkness that was just closing in. And I turned my head to the left. I'm like, all right, if this is my time, then here we go. Because I that's kind of how I felt, like just this closing in of darkness. And thankfully, the nurse listened to me. I said, whatever you're doing, you have to stop with that medication because I could just feel it. They stopped. And because they stopped and that stuff cycled out of my system quick enough, here I'm still here. And they rolled me down for emergency surgery. They went back in, stopped the heart with the medicine, got all the blood clots and everything out of there that had formed, closed me back up, and I woke up about 12 hours later.
Wow.
Yeah. So the second trip in was far worse than the first. The first, everything went expected. But the second one, we had a lot of unforeseen problems.
Man.
And so it was, the recovery from that took a while. I had a therapist that came over, and we'd walk to the top of the street or we'd walk to the mailbox and just very slowly try and get into it. Then they bring in this other therapist, and it's probably 6 weeks after surgery at this point. And I didn't jive with her very much. She'd like to come in and talk political stuff, which is not my jam. And again, this was 2016, and her opinions didn't align with mine. Sure. And again, I didn't want to argue about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm trying to rehab here, lady.
And so one day I was so angry with her, I went and I walked my old 3-mile running loop. And so the next day when she called me, she's like, all right, did you get your walking yesterday? I'm like, yeah, I did 3 miles. It's like, well, if you did 3 miles, you probably don't need me anymore. I'm like, nope, I'm good. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll do another 3 to get ready.
And that's where I was. And honestly, that was my first 5K back. It was a slow little walk. And I thought, well, if I did this, I'm signing up for my next race. So I ran in November. Well, run is a strong word. I did my first 5K back in November, slowly, very slowly.
So November, when was the heart surgery?
Heart surgery, the first was at the end of July. The second one was beginning of August. Well, I guess it'd be mid-August. So my time off was from mid-August to like the first weekend in November that year.
No, man. Yeah. And so from then on, you just started slowly building
back up. And again, I did nothing but 5Ks in 2017. And then 2018, I remember I did, shout out to the Liberty Half. That was my first half back. And I'll be a big wimp. I don't care. I finished that race with tears in my eyes. Sure. I sound like Ric Flair with a tear in my eye. I crossed that finish line, and 2 of my buddies came out, and they were cheering me on, and that was the best feeling in the world. And I have not looked back since really 2018.
Man, so what's your training look like today?
I'm usually racing once or twice a weekend, and then right now I'm in training for Tokyo, so I'm trying to get 4 runs in a week. I substitute out
Tokyo Marathon?
The Tokyo Marathon, coming up on March 1st. I take out 1 run because I'm playing the indoor soccer, which, different kind of cardio until they blow my knees out.
Yeah, and you quit doing that.
Yeah.
That's terrible for you. Indoor soccer is the worst.
Honestly, probably cutting me would make that team better. But
he still tries to get me to go out there and play.
You should. Oh, come on. It's a good night.
I like my knees.
Right?
Running's very important to me.
And so, now it's just run 2-3 times a week, do a race on the weekend, sometimes 2. Went out and did a solo training run a couple weeks ago, just did laps around a lake until I got to a half marathon. And now it's just starting to cycle down or taper as it is and get ready to go to Tokyo.
So do you have like a regular, are you following a marathon plan, or you just kind of feel it on your own? You know what you need?
Yeah. So. At this point, I've done this enough. I do what I need to do. There are a million training plans out there.
Yeah.
And for first timers, I highly recommend a training plan. Some people think I'm nuts that I don't use one religiously, but again, this is not my first rodeo, and so I just kind of do what I think I need to do.
Well, I mean, look, I've done a marathon. I've done an ultra.
Nice.
42. It's the Pi Day race.
Oh, yeah.
Up
Okay.
in Lawrence.
Yep.
I did the answer to everything, the 42.42.
Nice.
And it's really, for me, right? I can just say for me, it's like the preparation mentally is the hardest part.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
And
that
it's
it is.
like, and I thought it was crazy because, like I mentioned David Goggins earlier, and I don't know if you're familiar with Rich Roll.
I'm not hearing him.
He's a podcaster, but he wrote a book. It escapes me now, but it's about running ultras. And so I just I've always been I haven't always been. My weight journey is like, I got up to 374 back in 2013, lost 100 pounds by 2014, and then I think my first 5K back was the 4th of July race over in Lenexa.
Okay.
The Freedom Race, I think it is, and that would have been 2015, July 4th, 2015. I don't do a whole lot of races, and that's something, I've listened to your podcast a little bit, and I'm familiar with your community, Back of the Pack.
Yep.
So check the website, botppod.com. And it seems like you have a pretty thriving community.
We really do. It's been great. We're almost 7,000 people on the Facebook page. I don't do Twitter very well, or X or whatever they call it now. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're building up, and really like the whole premise of the podcast is it's running from a non-elite perspective. Now we have elite runners who listen to the show, and where we're different from maybe the slow AF community. They only want you if you are a certain level of slow. No, I just want you if you're a runner.
Right.
Like if you're on the podium or if you're the last place finisher, I don't care. Like this is a supportive running community, and I think people have really gravitated towards that. There's no negativity. There's no you're too fast to be here or you're too slow to be here. No, if you're a runner, if you're a walker, if you're towing a starting line and you're crossing a finish line, you've got a spot right here in our little running world.
And so you have a running club, Chasing Rabbits Run Club?
Yeah, the Chasing Rabbits Run Club.
Tell me about that.
Oh, man, it is going so much better than I thought. So a good buddy of mine who listens to the podcast and has been very supportive for a long time, shout out Bill.
What up, Bill?
Exactly. He goes to a local brewery, and the brewery was talking to him, shout out Discourse Brewery. So they had a run club that would come there like once a quarter. Because they moved around and did runs at all the different little breweries around town. That's cool. But they said, what if we had one of our own? What if we kind of help sponsor one and promote one? Well, they're saying that, talking to Bill, who's a regular there, and Bill's like, well, I listen to this podcast, and I know this guy, because Bill and I have gone drinking there before. What if we talk to him about starting a run club? So they reached out to me. I said, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it my way. And if you guys are cool with that, which they were, we'll get something going. So we started in August. And the whole thing, again, just like with the whole community, no one at this run club will ever finish last because I do. I am the designated turtle. I'm the sweeper. And if you're the last person other than me, I'll walk it with you. We will only ever have a 3-mile loop, 1.5 miles if you just want to do the 1.5 mile walk and not be out there as long. But no one ever finishes last because I do. And that has given such security to a lot of runners who are very leery of run clubs, who have gone to run clubs before and they say go and boom, they're all gone. And these people are sitting there like, anyone? And
they end up running by themselves.
Yeah, they're running by themselves. They're getting lost. They're in a part of town they don't know very well. So you'll never have that here. We have one loop, and I can guarantee you I'll be behind. And we're doing it every other Thursday, just as we kind of got started, and it has gone super well. We had a night with 30 runners out there, and for a new run club, that was amazing. And then after everyone's finished, we sit at the bar and we have a beer, shoot the breeze, talk running, which we all love to do because we're just weird like that. It's been a fantastic night.
So you guys meet on Thursdays. Open to anybody?
Anybody? Oh, absolutely. Everyone is welcome.
Give some information. How, like, if you're watching this and you want to get involved in,
yeah, absolutely.
I got the name right. Chasing Rabbits Run Club.
The Chasing Rabbits Run Club, because Again, I'm always the last place person, so designated turtle.
Right.
We're just kind of going with the whole tortoise and hare
okay, I gotcha.
feeling of it. Because
gotcha.
we've got fast people. They're done with the 3-mile loop, in 22 minutes or something. And they're already there 2 beers deep by the time I come walking in. But yeah, we're at Discourse Brewery, which is 97th and Metcalf.
All right.
Every other Thursday. We do have a Facebook page for the Chasing Rabbits Run Club. It's just a group. No qualifications to join. Just hit the little join now button, and it'll keep you updated. We have different themes every week. Tonight is beanie night, the day of this recording. So wear a fun beanie. We had, Halloween night where everyone wore costumes. We've had a glow night where everyone wears glowing stuff. Opening night of the NFL season was a Chasing Rabbits Run Club night, so everyone wore football attire. We try and do something fun every time. Everyone is welcome. Either on the Back of the Pack Podcast Facebook page, we always post updates about it, or the Chasing Rabbits Run Club group updates. You'll see what night it is, because again, it's every other Thursday.
And this is so. Tell me how you got started and what motivated you to start your podcast, Back of the Pack Podcast.
Our unofficial slogan is "I make the mistakes so you don't have to." I figured I've been running long enough. I've made every stupid mistake that you could possibly make. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should share that knowledge because I do like doing the podcast stuff. I've had 2 previous podcasts that you do for a while and they kind of fell off. The Rona killed one of them. But then I really wanted to do something that I loved. And I love the running world and I love helping people. So I figured I could combine the 2 things. And yeah, it's been great. We do race reviews. Every time I do a race, I think that's become the most popular part of the show. I didn't expect it to be that, but that's what it is. And then, I'll talk about tips or tricks or mistakes, or I usually screw something up and I share the story very honestly with people. And again, I think it resonates because I'm not a perfect runner and I'm not a fast runner, and neither are about 98% of the runners out there. Not perfect and not fast, but we still get out there, we lace them up, and we have fun.
So how long has that been going?
Podcast turns 4 years old in March. So we're almost to our 4-year anniversary, and we are closing in on 300 episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah. So it's been going a while now. We have on race directors. We have on charity partners. We have on fellow runners. More and more guests are wanting to come on the show, which is great. I figure more of other people, less of me is always a good thing. But we've just been having a great time with it.
I got a lot of work to do. I think this is on number 6. So
if you catch up with me, there's a problem.
So that's great stuff. So are you having any kind of celebration for 4 years?
We actually are. So on Thursday, March 12th, we're going to have a special one-off night. It's not our normal night of Chasing Rabbits Run Club. It's the off week. But we're going to have a special night. We're going to have a Chasing Rabbits Run Club, and then Discourses open their doors to all the podcast people, and we're going to have a 4-year anniversary party at the brewery on that Thursday night after Run Club.
March 12th.
March 12th at Discourse, yep.
Nice. That's my actual belly button birthday.
So well, there you go.
Maybe I'll come celebrate you guys.
Come on out. Yeah, I have to miss the other 2 runnings in March due to other race commitments. Going to the Tokyo Marathon. Mrs. Back of the Back Podcast, as she's called on my show, she has always wanted to go to Japan. So when I said I made the Tokyo Marathon, she already started whipping out the phone, booking things. Let's see, we're going to go do a tea ceremony, and here's sumo night. And
awesome.
Yeah, like she has got Tokyo lined up. The day after the race, I don't know how I'm going to move, but I better because she's already got things planned.
You'll be fine.
So
Nature will take over.
It better. Boy, I'm going to be hurting.
I'm jealous. That's definitely on my bucket list. I'd love to go to Tokyo.
I'll let you know.
Japan.
Yeah.
I look forward to the recap of that race.
That's going to be a longer episode, I can guarantee. When I recapped Berlin, I think it was like an hour-and-a-half episode, but I just, you keep thinking of all the stuff you want to share with people, and it was great. But yeah, Berlin was a fun experience, but I think Tokyo might top that.
So what's your best experience or most favorite experience from the 14 marathons that you've done? Well, I guess what's the craziest thing you saw and what's your favorite marathon that you've done?
Yeah, the favorite marathon still New York City. New York Marathon is a number 1. I think Boston is right behind that, then Chicago. Berlin was a heck of an experience just because it was my first international race. Because again, I'm trying to get all 6 of the world marathon majors. So I've got the New York, Chicago, Boston, Berlin, Tokyo coming up. They added Sydney as a 7th, and I made Sydney, so I'm supposed to go to Sydney, Australia in August, and then I just need London. So
impressive.
Yeah, New York is still my favorite by far. Boy, I'm trying to think of the craziest thing I've seen. I've seen some crazy things out there. I do do a marathon, I don't recall which one, where the guy in the Guinness Book of World Records who does marathons dribbling a basketball, he went by me like I was standing still. Like that guy dribbling a basketball because I could hear it. Like, what is this pounding noise I'm hearing? Why is it getting louder? And then he went zoom. And after the race, I saw that he had set a Guinness World Record for most marathons dribbling a basketball, something like that.
That's wild.
I also saw the Chihuahua jelly bean that has gotten a lot of attention because he does marathons and it's a Chihuahua, little 4-pound nothing. Yeah, and his owner, like this big ripped guy, they do marathons.
Like, did he carry the Chihuahua?
No, the dog runs it.
Like this little legs.
This little nothing dog is out there doing marathons and doing a lot faster than I am.
Oh, man. So let's go back to something that you said earlier. What started your running it was your why, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure over 16 years, that's probably had to evolve.
It does, yeah.
And so, like, what's your why today? When you're running today, getting ready for Tokyo, what's your why?
My why right now is the community, the Back of the Pack podcast community, the running community, the Kansas City running community, which I say on my podcast I think is the best community there is. We have such an amazing group of diehard runners and race directors and charity people and people who just keep this running world going. And no, my why right now is I have so much fun doing the podcast, and I love everyone in the running community. Like we have such a great time. I mean, we're taking silly selfies before the race. We're going out for coffee or beers after the race. We enjoy hanging out. One fun story from back in the fall, there was a new race in Martin City, and there's a winery out there right off of whatever road that
Holmes.
is. I think it's Holmes, yeah. And so we ran the race, and then they opened that winery early. And so we're like, okay, we'll go check this out. There was about a group of 25 of us who probably overdrank some of the wine slushies, but we sat there for hours just drinking wine slushies, talking, drinking a little too much, and enjoying the day on the patio. And it's that kind of that great stuff that's why I keep doing it.
The community.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I think we're one of the best.
So what does running mean to you?
It's my way to stay healthy, honestly. And it's become habit because I've done it for so long, and I still get great enjoyment out of doing it. I mean, if I could still be, playing basketball on a competitive level, I'm sure I'd do that too, but my body's not going to let me do that. But right. my body can still run, and I enjoy it so much, and it's given me a lot, health and happiness, and really what more can you ask for than those two things?
I completely agree. I have a different relationship with running, I think, than you do.
Yeah.
Like, I hate running.
Sure.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I do it 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I do probably 30 miles a week.
So you've got the habit without the passion for it.
Well, here's what I love. I love being done with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, being done running. Like, that's I have a lot of problems here, Kyle. I got a lot of them.
Well, you work with Ben. There's one.
But, I've been diagnosed with, major depression disorder, okay. Right? With suicidal ideations. That's not something I love saying,
right?
But that's the truth. And that is my medicine. Mm-hmm. That is my medicine. Like, if I go 2 or 3 days without running, I start getting crazy.
Yeah, you can start feeling it.
Yeah. And so it's like, so I have these tools to I'm not on any medication. Mm-hmm. They try to put me on Zoloft and all these other, and it's like that makes me not me.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yep.
And so I have this tool now that takes care of it, and that's running. Mm-hmm. But I hate it. So it's interesting because I run in a couple, like I do, probably for the last 10 years, I do a Thanksgiving Day race.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, I'm gearing up for a 50-miler in Ottawa, the Prairie.
It's a Prairie Spirit, isn't it?
Yep. That's right.
Yep.
The Prairie Spirit in Ottawa, in March 28th.
Nice.
So it's like, but like for me, when I wanted to do an ultra, I was like, that's crazy. There's no way I could ever do it. So this was in 2019. Mm-hmm. I hear these guys talking about that's the first time I'd ever heard of an ultra, and I hadn't even run a marathon.
They're another beast right there. Whew.
And I'm like, that's silly for you to even think that. And so I said, okay, if it's so silly, I'm going to run every day, at least 5K a day, mm-hmm. for the next calendar year.
Wow. Okay.
And then if you can do that, then you can start training for an ultra.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did it. And then I started it on November 1st of 2019. I got to Halloween 2020, and it was a leap year, so that's 366 straight days.
Okay.
And then I got to November 1st, 2020, and I said, well, how cool would it be to say I ran every day during a pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I'm going to go till New Year's Eve. And so same thing. So I had like parameters, and the parameters like had to be a minimum of 30 miles a week.
Okay.
Had to be a minimum of 3.1 miles a day, and every mile had to be under 10 minutes.
Oh, geez. All right.
And so like then I got to New Year's Eve, and ran, and it's like, everybody's like, oh, you're gonna enjoy your finally your day off tomorrow, and it's like, no, actually I'm gonna run.
Right.
And so I kept running until February of 2021, and then I had a infection in my jaw here. I had like it was a saliva gland infection.
Okay.
And I was at altitude. I was in Colorado, and I just run a 10K on my own, and then I go see a doctor, and she's like, no doing anything for the next 10 days. And so I remember sitting there in my cabin and just being crushed.
Yeah.
Like, I can't run tomorrow. And like crushed. And then I stepped back, and it's like, man, I'm an alcoholic. I have an addictive personality, and I just realized I just got addicted to running.
Yep.
And the whole reason I even started running was so I could train for an ultra. Mm-hmm. And so I guess, I was like, well, I guess in 10 days I'm going to start training for that ultra.
That's right.
But the thing was is that I can get addicted to anything, and I got addicted to running.
Yeah.
And so it's like now even if I think it's good for me, it's like I got to be careful. Because I can get lost in an unhealthy attachment to it.
Yeah, and you don't want it to be unhealthy, but it's of the things you can get attached to. That's a good one.
Right.
That's a good one.
Right.
I think I got addicted to the race scene. Race mornings. Training runs are fun, but as fun as they can be when you're out by yourself. But race mornings, I'm still addicted to that.
Sure.
I hate missing a race morning. I don't want to. I want to be there. There's just a special feeling, an adrenaline rush.
Well, tell me about that. Like, what's the community? Because I don't have that. Like, I do my runs are usually at 3:30 in the morning.
Right. With your schedule, I bet.
Yeah. And that's because I feel like when I'm done with work and I want to go home, it's like if it's really hard for me to get those shoes on after working for 8 or 10 hours and being up already for 12 or 14 hours. So like I have to get it out of the way, or almost 5 days a week I'm running in the morning before I even go into work. And cold, whatever it is, like I have to get it done because I know I won't do it later. But like, tell me, like, what's that community mean to you?
Oh, everything. Again, that's probably why I continue to do this. But yeah, race morning, I can't even really describe it. I love it so much. There's always an excitement, even if it's a race you've done 100 times. You get to see your running friends. You're sitting around. You're talking the race. You're comparing notes. I mean, you work in sports radio. You must at some point in time love sitting around just talking sports with the guys. Well, I'm just sitting around talking running with my running buddies. We get to see everyone or see each other almost every weekend, and then they start the race. And whether it's a 5K or a half marathon, I know I'm going to get time to myself. I'm going to get time to. And I'm one of those runners. Even though I do the Back of the Pack podcast, I'm never resigned to where I'm at. I always want to do better. If I could PR every race, I would. I can't, but I try. And so I get my time just in my own head, in my own thoughts, doing things that I know are healthy, high-fiving my buddies that are on the, coming back the other way, or, saying hi to the volunteers at the aid station, thanking the cops on the road for not letting us get run over. Yeah. Even though there were times where I almost did. But it's a great morning. A lot of your troubles just kind of disappear. They can at least be lost in 3.1 miles as you're thinking about, you're running. What am I going to do after this? Are we going to go out and get coffee as a group? Or, I know that my legs are going to be spent after this race. I'm going to go home and soak at a, salt bath, and then I'm going to sit and binge watch Big Bang Theory all afternoon. Whatever. There you go. You've got options. But no, I love my running people. I love the community. And race morning is kind of where we all get to come together and celebrate this thing that we do.
So the description that you're talking about, what if, what would your advice be to someone who has never done a race or doesn't run or what would you tell them, how to start or where to start? What would your advice to them be?
They would have to start exactly where I started. Again, as a 300-plus pound guy told go run who laughed at the notion, I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I bought a pair of crappy running shoes. I put them on. I tied my laces, and I went out the front door. And that's what it takes to start running. The cliche, but it's true, is the most difficult step is the first step out the door. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely right, because there's days you don't want to.
Right.
At 3:30 in the morning, I imagine there's a lot of days you don't want to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have to have my gear set out.
Yep.
I have to have my shoes ready, my I can't give myself any excuse. It has to all be right there.
Yeah.
So I roll out, I do a morning meditation, I do some prayers, and then the next thing, cold tub, run.
Yep.
And that's that. It's a system now, mm-hmm. right? And I'm a big believer. I think goals are great, but I believe in systems over goals.
Yeah.
And I have to create systems. And my best example of that is, if I have my garage is just constantly a mess. I can't even put my car in there. Stuff's everywhere, right?
That sounds familiar.
Right? But
Same boat.
And then right, well, and the spring comes on, okay, I'm going to clean my garage out. And I clean it all out, and it's clean for like 2 months. And then it's back to, well, what I figured out is that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. Because I make it a goal every spring to clean out my garage, but then I'm cleaning out my garage every spring, mm-hmm. right? Now, I create a system where everything in my garage has a spot. And then I'm not doing that every spring because I have a system in place. And so I kind of believe in living my life with systems, implementing systems, so I don't have to create goals. Now, I do think goals are important, and in long-term having aims are very important.
Absolutely.
But like if I'm rolling into the week being like, okay, my goal this week is to run 5 times, right? That goal can't be that way every week. I can't just have that same. That's just got to be part of a routine. It has to be a part of my system, right? And now I have a system in place where it's more likely that I'm going to wake up and put that gear on and put those shoes on and go run than I'm not.
Yeah.
Right? And it has to be an extenuating situation like KU tipping off at 10 o'clock at night and me not going to bed until 12:30
right.
for me to miss a morning. But it's like that's way more unlikely to happen than for it to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess I don't know where we were going there. I guess like what systems do you have or do you have anything in place like that? Because to run the amount of races that you've run consistently,
yeah.
Like how do you keep that as part of your routine, basically? Like your routine is to basically run a race every week.
Yeah, it is. And it's easier because, at least for me still, there's financial obligation. You have to pay money for these races.
Yeah.
So you're only outing yourself by not showing up. And if you don't show up to a race, the race doesn't care, but you're still out the experience. You're out your medal, you're out your time outside, you're out a lot of things. So for me, I hate wasting money. I hate that in all aspects of my life. So
for sure,
if I pay for a race, my happy rump is going to be there because I paid to be there. But runners have their own system. You'll hear a runner talk about their flat selves. So a flat runner, flat Kyle, is me having all my gear laid out the night before a race. I mean everything, socks, shoes, and you lay it out almost like, you would see a police photo of a dead body. Yeah. There's flat you, all the way to your headband by the pillow of the bed that you're taking the picture on. So runners have that. We have our system. Every runner has their flat selves, and they've just got everything all laid out so that in the morning, you don't have to think. Don't think, just throw. It's all there.
That's right.
Anyone have Bull Durham reference on their bingo card? Yeah. I hope so. Yeah. So no, we've got our system. You get your flat self ready, and then race morning, you get dressed and you go. You're at the start line and you start your race. And it's become such habit at this point. For me, it's easy. I have my little bench or whatever you want to call it in my closet, and that is where Flat Kyle lives before every race here in town. And then if I'm traveling, if I'm on the road, because I'm fortunate in my position as podcast host here, I get to travel and do races. Where I'm going to be in Mississippi in March for one, and those folks were nice enough to give me a registration because they want me to come run their race. Like, this is awesome. So I have a hotel room with 2 beds, and Flat Kyle is going to be laid out in the bed that I'm not sleeping in. And that's where he's going to be the morning of that marathon until I wake up and get dressed and go.
It's full Kyle.
Well, yeah, it's going to be flat, full, tired Kyle after that race. Mississippi in March, it could start getting a little hot.
Oh, I mean, your story's great, and I have a spin for you, maybe.
Okay, hit me.
You should probably thank your ex-wife.
You know what? In my deepest, darkest, quietest moments, I kind of have. I have never verbalized that, and I really don't expect her to listen to a podcast with me on it.
Nobody really wants to ever do that, but
Right.
like, you think about how life works, right?
Yeah.
You think about like because when you're in it, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing ever. That's a sad, hard place. It was for me, at least.
Sure.
It was sad. It was hard, and it was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
But look what it brought forth.
Yeah, that's kind of where it's at. Like, not only did I start running this as the FU to her, but when I look back, it's like, if I was still married to her, if our situation hadn't happened, if we were continued on, I wouldn't have all these experiences I had.
Yeah, you wouldn't be who you were.
I wasn't a runner then, and I was never going to be while we were married and had the 2 little kids at that point, and life was just going to take us in other directions, I'm sure. I would never have done this. And now that I'm doing this, and I've been to Berlin, Germany, and I'm going to go to Tokyo, Japan, and I've run half marathons down the Las Vegas Strip as it was closed, and it's at night, and everything is lit up. And I've gone to Fargo, North Dakota for a marathon, run Little Rock. All these opportunities and experiences I've had wouldn't have otherwise had. Right. So no, there is a part of me that kind of has to say, hey, thanks for things working out the way they did with you.
You don't have to thank her. I mean, thank the universe.
The situation.
Thank you, universe.
There we go.
You know, because that's like, we don't know when we're going through these experiences, whether it be your open heart surgery or that divorce. Is like we get to actually decide what that means.
Yeah.
Right. It could be the worst thing ever, and it could stay the worst thing ever.
And for a while, it was for a period, but that period ended, and then a much better period has begun after that, and it's been great for me.
How do you change that? How do you turn those things around?
I am a firm believer in time heals all wounds. Like, that's 100% true. I got the divorce, and I had kind of the real dark period that a lot of men go through post divorce. Too much alcohol. Spent a week in a facility, get a little help that I needed, but eventually. I've always thought, like grief, especially after divorce, it's like the ocean. It comes in waves. Some are big waves, some are small waves, and every once in a while, a big one will roll in on you and you didn't see it coming.
Yeah, from nowhere.
Right. But those waves do subside eventually, and that's something. My very first podcast I ever did was for divorced men because that was where my heart was at the time. I wanted to help divorced guys who went through the same crap that I went through. And so I use that a lot, and it's true. It does get better. So anyone who's going through a divorce, trust me, it does get better. I'm speaking from experience, not just pulling it out of the air.
No.
But
it's truth.
Yeah, and so eventually, as my enjoyment of running and the running community got greater, my anger towards her got less, and my reason why I was running for her got less. By the time I was running the marathon in New Orleans, that was for me. Yeah, that was, I'm now enjoying this. I want to do the 50 states. I want the 6 world marathon majors, now 7. Yeah, I started thinking about what I wanted, not what I wanted to prove to her. Mm-hmm. And so
it was just a catalyst to get you there.
It was. Yeah, that's how it started. But thankfully, it didn't remain there long.
It couldn't have.
No.
That doesn't sustain you.
No, it eventually would have fizzled out. We'd be like, all right, well, I'm tired of trying to prove her wrong. Not that she'd ever know in this manner.
Right. Yeah. But it's not really. It's proving to yourself is what it really was.
It is now.
Right.
Yeah, now it's proving to myself. It's proving that a guy with 2 open heart surgeries can run races. It's proving that a guy. I mean, you're looking at me. I'm not a runner. Like, I don't have a runner body.
I don't think either one of us do.
Yeah, I'm still a bigger dude. Like, I lost a lot of weight, but
we're the Clydesdale class.
Exactly. Like, there's a reason this is the Back of the Pack podcast. Like, it's not. I'm going to be on the podium podcast. No, absolutely, I'm not. So, yeah, it's a. But I still love it. Still love the running world, and I still love doing the things that we do. And a little bit. There's a little ego tied in there. Yeah, I can do this as a guy who had the surgeries. I can do this as a guy who survived a divorce, and I can do this as a guy who's done almost 400 career races. And less than 1% of people will run a full marathon. Well, how about 14 of them?
Right.
So, yeah, there's a little ego there.
So you got Tokyo on the slate this spring.
Yep.
Any other big races? You said you're going to try to do Sydney.
And then I'll give a shout out to Run the Rainbow, which is a marathon down in Mississippi that I'm going to do. It benefits Mississippi's only children's hospital.
Okay.
And I'm absolutely happy to do that. And then the one local race I will shout out down in Lawrence in August is Rexy Run. They are for Baby J's Legacy of Hope, helping kids and families that have kids going through cancer. And so
beautiful cause.
That race is my heart, and they're the sweetest people you'll ever know. So I make sure I call out every podcast listener I can. I want everyone to fill that race up. This is their 11th year. Again, it's in August, so it's going to be hot. We can deal with it. We're Midwesterners. Come on. But yeah, that will be something that's always on the calendar in August.
And that race again is?
I think it's August 15th. It's the third Saturday in August, which I think is like the 15th.
And the name of it is?
The Rexy Run.
The Rexy Run.
Yeah, think dinosaur. Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right, T-Rex. Gotcha. Yep. So just to recap real quick, your Instagram, Back of the Pack Podcast, if you want to check Kyle out on Instagram. Your website, botppod.com. You can get your podcast. I check it out on YouTube, and it's at the Back of the Pack Podcast on YouTube. Facebook group, the Back of the Pack Podcast. I guess you're a Kansas City guy.
Absolutely.
And big news in Kansas City. We talk sports here, but
absolutely.
Also, I like to get your thoughts on Arrowhead Stadium moving to Kansas.
All right. Well, unpopular opinion, as I'm a Kansas dweller, and I will be living about 12-minute drive away from the potential new stadium. I am perfectly fine with it.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
That if we get a dome and if we can start getting things other than games, if T Swizzle wants to go there and do a concert, if we get the Super Bowl some year, all the the potential could be's, then it's super great for everyone. There is also something to be said for Arrowhead as Arrowhead, and you can't recreate Arrowhead anywhere else than where it is. As much as I love the Royals, I'd actually rather see them move than the Chiefs.
Well, they're moving. Nobody knows where.
No one knows where. I have no clue where they're going right now. As long as it's not the Aspire campus. We run too many 5Ks out there.
That's what the Thanksgiving one is I run.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. That one. Yeah. Geez, Stars and Stripes runs out there. Patriots runs out there. There's a ton.
We're not doing much with it right now anyways.
No, there's not much happening out there.
Good people get out there and run.
Well, and that's why race directors like it. You don't need cops to close roads because you're just running the circle inside Aspire, and it just kind of supports itself. But no, I love the idea and theory of them going to Kansas just because, I'm more a Kansas person than Missouri. Stinking Missouri. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no.
But again, Arrowhead is Arrowhead. So if they decided to stay, I wouldn't say a bad word about it. Be like, all right, cool. They're gonna stay. There we go. So, but what I do hate is how much it has kind of torn the city in two.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a strong opinion about it, and people are angry with each other, and people are angry with government officials, which we should normally be angry with government officials.
All of them.
Yeah, every single one. Anarchy. No,
don't get me started. I know. That's a whole other podcast.
No kidding. So, no, I hate what it's done. I hate that we've got, kind of each other at our throats in the area, but it'll all fizzle out and settle down at some point in time. We're still all Chiefs fans. And
if anything, it just makes me sad, the memories I have at Arrowhead. And
absolutely.
I think I've been to, outside of probably the newest 3 or 4 stadiums, SoFi and the one in Minnesota, I've been to every NFL stadium in the league. And it's, it's Lambeau and Arrowhead. Mm-hmm. Those are the two.
The historics.
Right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
now it's that's what breaks my heart about it is that it was whatever anybody wants to say is that no matter where I go, people would be like, oh, I got to get to Arrowhead. I want to tailgate at Arrowhead, and it's like now we're just going to be a dome team.
Yeah,
it's like one of those weak ass dome teams that can't handle the cold.
Well, and one of the other problems is we are the loudest stadium, open air. We rock that record. Still have it. Seattle, you guys can kiss my rump. Your half enclosed stadium doesn't count.
Right.
So I don't see any way you can recreate that. And if you're in a dome, it's just not fair anyway.
No.
So,
and the way that stadium was built is so unique of how steep that bowl is.
Yeah.
You really can't recreate that.
No.
So it's disappointing. For me, it's like I'm not mad about it. It's inevitable. It's out of my hands. Obviously, people who are way more distinguished than I make those kind of decisions, but it just does. I'm a Kansas boy. I grew up, I'm a Kansan, but it still breaks my heart that it's not going to be at Arrowhead. So I thought maybe I'd get your idea. You're a Kansas City guy. I thought,
absolutely,
it's the hot topic in the city.
Boy, it really is. Well, since we're we're out of it right now, which is just it's still so strange that the Chiefs aren't talking postseason football at the moment.
Yep, it is. It's like a Twilight Zone when you 7 straight AFC championships, and now this weekend we won't be there. But
Here, I got one for you, all right, because I saw this on social media the other day. It was from a Denver news station, of course.
Great.
And so what they showed was a whole overlay of the country, and it was all orange and Denver Bronco mascot, and then the one little blue part in Massachusetts for the Patriots said who America is rooting for. My response was, get these ugly colors and logo off of Kansas and Missouri.
Right.
Because there is no way in God's green earth I am rooting for the Broncos.
Right.
But what about you? Are you?
no,
okay.
Go Patriots.
Yeah, no Patriots?
Go Patriots.
Oh, go Patriots. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Tom Brady's not there anymore.
It's about the only thing you get, and I like Mike Vrabel.
Sure,
The only way you can get me to root for the Patriots is they're playing the Broncos.
Exactly.
That's about it. Well, I'll give you the last word if there's anything you'd like to close it out with.
No, I appreciate you having me on. This has been a blast, and I get to share kind of my love for the running world and everything Back of the Pack podcast related. Find us on all the socials. It is the most welcoming group of runners that you can ever find. So if you are in any way about starting to run, about group runs, about being there at race morning, this is the most welcoming community that you could ever hope to find.
Well, you have
Absolutely.
and I look forward to getting out there to a Chasing Rabbits Run Club run.
Yeah,
It's
come
right
on
down
out.
the street from me.
Oh, perfect.
I don't have a very good excuse not to at least show up for.
You know, as it's cold, it's a little more difficult to get people out, but we're still pulling.
You're not running a race this weekend, are you?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I was going to take my daughter to St. Louis to see a Blues game. She's suddenly gotten into hockey.
Awesome.
And so we had tickets to the Blues, but I don't think we're going to make it because St. Louis is going to get hit harder than we are.
Oh man.
But I bought the insurance on.
I never did.
It's the one time. It's the one time. And my fear was the weather.
It's like who buys insurance on these things? Smart move.
One time because I just had a feeling.
There's nothing better than live and.
Fun fact about
so
me,
underrated.
I was born 02/22/1980. My family's been a hockey family ever since. So I love hockey. I think it was actually that game that sent my mother into labor. So, yeah, that is my love it. Love hockey. My first NHL game.
Wow, mine was the Boston Garden. I saw
Nice.
Devils and Bruins.
Okay.
and I hooked. Like wow.
Sorry, we lost like 90% of the people in Kansas and Missouri right now.
If you've been to an NHL game, there's not. I mean, TV doesn't do it.
People don't like it on TV, but live hockey, even Mavericks.
I was going to say, give a shout out to the Mavs.
Absolutely, live hockey is the best live sport,
no doubt. All right, well, man, I appreciate your time. I always like to close it down with saying this to the audience: is when you change your thinking, you change your life. Good night now.